Okay. Okay.
Wait, but what am I kicking off? Because you're doing announcements.
You're kicking off the meeting.
Oh, great. You were supposed to warn me about this.
No, it's good. It's good practice.
Welcome to our Faithfully Fit team call. We are focusing today on, the focus of the call is on our understudying of Bonnie Engel, Nicole and I. And we're really excited to share all the great stuff that we've learned. And first we have recognition and announcements with Tracy Baldrick.
Okay. All right. Thanks for doing that. Okay. So it is March 29th, you guys, and Pam Blackwell and Nicole Doornbos are going to be talking us through some awesome content. So one, I'm super excited that you guys don't have to hear from me. And two, it's nice to be the student. It's fun. All right. Can you guys, I can't see y'all anymore. So can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so there's only 3 announcements. Okay, I think I keep talking about this for my own accountability, but the Getting Started Right training, the training that starts this Monday is our last training in Facebook. So I am working my tail off at trying to get all this training on this new platform. And once that rolls out, it'll be available in May. So probably the first Zoom call that we have in May, we'll be walking through the new training and seeing how you guys as coaches can take a lot of the content and duplicate it, add your own logo, all that kind of stuff. So that will be available to you, but this is going to be our last training in Getting Started Right. When the new training does come out, it's going to be, I haven't figured out how I'm going to work it yet, but it's going to be half of it's going to be self-paced, and the other half is going to be like a monthly rotation of coaches running some sort of a live workshop on really hot topics for a brand new coach, such as how to invite, how to run a freemium, how to expand your network in Facebook or whatever social media platform you're going to decide. And I feel like those are topics that like we cannot talk about enough. So I don't want to lose the live element of training. And I don't want to lose the element of personally sponsored coaches rolling up their sleeves and like getting in the trenches with coaches. But at the same time, I also don't feel like if you get a coach who's interested or a potential coach who's interested and they're like, I'm ready. And you're like, great, the training starts in 3 weeks. And then what happens is you are spending all this time teaching them how to do very basic things like sign up for EFT. And that should be something that they should be able to do on their own time. Plus, it shows with brand new coaches, it's very easy to see who's hungry when they come in and you've got training that's self-paced. And the cool thing is, as the facilitator of the training, you can see how much time each person is spending in each module. You can see when they've completed it. It's an awesome, robust program that's actually free. Super psyched about that. But if you have people for Monday, I know a lot of you guys have done your own coaching opportunity calls. Let Tracy know the group actually just opened up tonight and pre-work starts on Friday because they have to start reading The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, who is one of our speakers at Summit. How amazing is that? So if you did not know that, Darren Hardy is going to be speaking. He has written The Compound Effect and The Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster, which I've read twice in the last 3 months. I loved it so much. Okay. If you have not seen in the Poach page, I am now reading the 12-week year. And so moving on to other things, the 12-week year, Heidi's also reading it. I think Irene is reading it right now. There's a couple of us that are reading it. But I'm not gonna repeat the entire post, but there's a post in there. I just tagged Kara Treemy because I had a one-on-one with her tonight. So it should be at the top of the post page, but I'm basically asking, since Saturday is not only a brand new month, but it's a brand new quarter, it's an awesome time to implement some of the cool things in this book. So you're gonna be hearing from me a lot over the next week because I'm fired up and totally excited about this quarter. And since I came from corporate America, I have always believed that Q2 is the most important quarter. Everyone can disagree with me in corporate America, but I believe that if you have strong momentum in Q2, it catapults you through the summer, which is typically a low time for most businesses because everyone vacations. And then when you have a good summer and you've got a lot of mojo, it automatically flows into Q4. So I feel like Q2 is huge. And so we've got a lot of opportunity in front of us, and I think it's going to be great based on what a lot of you guys have been doing. If it's not been the best start of the year for you, and I've had a lot of one-on-one one-on-ones, and a lot of people are like, it's been an amazing year. And a lot of coaches are like, oh my gosh, I just thought I would be so much more further along than where I am right now. That's okay. This whole book talks about not having an annualized mentality, because when we have that mentality and we're like, oh, this is all what I want to do in my business this year, you don't have a sense of urgency. And sure enough, here we are, the first quarter is already done. And I look at my own goals and I'm like, I'm not tracking any of them. So I'm going to crunch a couple of goals into 12 weeks. And instead of each day being like 1 out of 365, one day in my quarter really equals a week in the year. So it's an awesome book, but I'll be talking a lot about the concepts. But what that means for you all, you don't necessarily have to read the book, because there's a lot of awesome personal development going on other books right now. But I really want you to go back to your goals, and I want you to list 3 of them so that you can have time to put some structure into them, and then your team can help hold you accountable and encourage you. Okay, Super Saturday. Is anyone going to Super Saturday? Carl Deichler is going to New York City, but I know that there's a lot more on this call than just the Northeast. So who's going to Super Saturday?
I'm going to Super Sunday.
Super Sunday in Austin.
Yeah. And actually 2 of my coaches found one in San Antonio. I didn't even know there was one going on in San Antonio. So they're going to try to go to the one on Saturday.
Oh, awesome. That might be a fun one for you to visit at some point, Heidi.
Yeah. Well, I already asked corporate if there was one. They said no. So I was shocked. I was like, oh, well, I guess they're wrong. I guess there is one.
There's one in Trumbull on Sunday the 9th.
Tracy, what are you doing?
I can't do Saturday, and I typically do not do Super Saturdays on Sunday, just because our family goes to church. So if you can't make a Super Saturday, so in my instance, I have a birthday on Saturday, so that makes it tricky to get to New York City, but I'm not ruling it out yet. And then Sundays, I just don't do Super Saturdays. So in Shred Nation, there's this girl named Jen Hayworth, and she actually went to high school with her, and she does a virtual Super Saturday. And so you can literally, I don't know what time she does it, but she has all of the Super Saturday material, and she does it virtually for people who can't get to that particular Super Saturday. So Pam, we can talk offline about New York City. But I mean, don't you guys think if there's supposed to be 3 workout programs released in the year 2018, surely that's got to be what one of the announcements is. I'm sure that they're going to be announcing a new workout program. I mean, what else could it be?
Well, I heard a rumor that Carl, he said something about like something for coaches, like even beyond work. So I don't know what that could be either, but maybe a tool for us. I don't know. But he kind of dropped the hint that it was something to do with tools for coaches to help us do our jobs better or something. Who knows? It'll be exciting no matter what.
Hi,
Prepackaged meals.
Hi, Tina. What'd you think? What'd you say?
You said, did you give up your dream on prepackaged meals?
Honey, just wait till Summit, okay?
Okay, that's a summit announcement.
That would be a Summit announcement for sure. You know, and my heart will start beating every time. But just for those of you that don't know, I do believe at some point we are going to do like deliver meals, like 21-day fixed prepackaged meals. That would be like a dream for me. There's a much longer story to that, but that's like a Summit conversation. Okay, so Super Saturdays are going on. I don't know if there's any in Boston. I don't know if there's any in, who else do we have representing? California. Is Katie going to another one, Kira?
We haven't talked about it. We need to get on it.
All right. Okay. So it's coming up on us. So if it's coming up on everyone so quick, and there's not going to be a lot of, like a lot of people going to Super Saturday in April, they moved the July one. So July was always tough because we'd literally get off the plane from Summit, and I was like, with 24,000 other coaches, like we can't leave our families again next weekend and go to Super Saturday. So they did push the next one out, which I think is in September. And then I think there's another one. Is that right, Heidi? There's one in September. So the September one will be great. I'm going to do a much better job at like talking about it so that we can get like a lot of people kind of spread out, because that would obviously be awesome momentum for September's a great month because everyone is back to school, and as busy as it is, none of the moms can fit into their jeans. Too much rosé and barbecue from the summer. Okay, So let's move on to announcements. Let me go back and share. Okay. So recognition I want to do. There we go. Okay, so Candace, I think, was recognized last call, but I wasn't sure. But Candace and Christine are two brand new Emerald coaches. They went through Getting Started Right last month, so congratulations to them. Super, super cool story. I'm about to post the before and afters, but Christine coached her sister, and we just finished a challenge group. Her sister lost 20 pounds, you guys. 20 pounds in one challenge group. It's just one of those where you're like, oh my goodness, like it's just amazing, amazing results. And as a brand new coach, even though it's her sister, it's probably why there was such good success with it. Her sister absolutely crushed the challenge group. Her before and afters are amazing. Okay, Irene's on our call today, so I wanted to recognize Irene. She's a brand new coach with us. She's taking our Insanity Live classes. She's driving all the way down from, is it Westport, Irene?
Yes.
She's driving 20 minutes to come to a live Insanity class with Juliet and myself. Irene and I met through a freemium. So I could talk all day about freemiums, but that was over a year ago, and she just signed on and she just bought her summit ticket. So you guys are going to get a chance to meet Irene, but she's got 3 boys and she's also lost 25 pounds since January. So amazing transformation. I love it. Dina, I'm going to let you talk for Amy about Stacy. You're on mute.
That would help. So I don't actually know Stacy,
Right?
but I did coach a challenge group that she was in. And
Awesome.
what I do know is that she works with diabetics.
Yeah.
So one day as a challenger, she had this like lengthy post, and it was all about how what she did was she, wore this monitor that the diabetics use. And because she wanted to see really what the Shakeology would do to her blood sugar. And when she wore it, like, and drank the Shakeology, it literally, it stayed so even keeled. And I know we advertise that, your glycemic index, it doesn't really fluctuate and blah, blah, blah. But for her, it was like such an aha, incredible moment that it was loaded with all these superfoods and nutrition. And she just wrote this amazing post about it. So I actually just took her post and I like copied it and used it in my future challenge groups.
That's awesome.
And then all of a sudden I just saw the announcement that she was a coach the other day. So, and I only see Amy at Christmas, so I haven't really had a chance to talk to her about it. But she seems like a rock star, and I'm super excited.
And just because you're related to Amy, you get put on the spot to introduce Stacy.
Yeah, that was really weird. Thanks a lot for that.
All we see is this mouth. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. Keep talking, Dina.
Oh, yay, Deanna. So Deanna is an absolute rock star. She joined me as a challenger. She's a young 20-something, clearly by her picture.
Oh yeah, she's beautiful.
Yeah. And so she was stressing out about her Shakeology selfie, and then she texted me. She's like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden I get a text, I think I nailed it. And I was like, oh my God, you look like a model. So I love her story because what happened was she's always been kind of tiny, and I've worked with her at my restaurant for 15 years. Her uncle actually owned it.
Okay.
And she was that girl that was tiny, and she would eat like 5 hot dogs while we were working. And then the next day she would eat French fries. I froze.
No, you didn't. Oh yeah, you did. This happens all the time.
Should we make up stories for her?
She freezes. Can you imagine if she's doing her coaching opportunity call and she's like, being a coach is Okay. All right, we're gonna stay on track here. Okay, Megan. No, not Megan. Sorry, Nicole. Nicole, would you like to?
Yeah, Okay, Tiffany. Tiffany actually has been part of the Beachbody family before. So excited to have her. I'm actually really excited because she used to live in Florida, and moved to California, I want to say about 4 years ago. And I'm not exactly sure on how Beachbody got lost in translation for her, but starting a new life in California, she didn't bring it with her. And she's picked it back up. She's gone through some hard things. She also is a beautiful young 20-something. So I was laughing because we talked about her joining my team. She's been on other coaches' team that we know. She actually was, Bonnie Engel was her upline. So I was like, oh, this is kind of funny that that's who I'm understudying right now. But this was a post that she just put up, and I was like, oh, okay. Welcome to the team, Tiffany. So I'm super excited to have her.
Awesome. Can't wait to see more of both of these girls. Okay, Juliet's not on, but I will welcome Jen. Jen's also another one of our Insanity Live participants. Her energy is amazing. I can't wait for anyone to meet her. You walk into a room with her and she absolutely lights up the room and makes everyone feel special. So she's going to do a great job making challengers feel amazing. And then Melissa, who would like to recognize Melissa?
I'll keep it real short and sweet because I'm going to freeze again. So Missy is under Amanda. She's a rock star. She is still at home on her maternity leave from her second baby. And she's just bringing it. Like she hopped on the Zoom call 2 weeks ago and she wasn't even out of GSR yet.
Right, good for her.
Yeah, and I had no idea she was even on it. So she's just a learner, and we're running our first challenge group together with her right now. And she flew to Florida today for a family vacay. So she just wanted to get started, and she loves everything about it. And she goes back to be a teacher, I want to say in like a few weeks. So
okay.
So she's just all fired up and all about the business. So I'm really excited for her.
Hi, Melissa, if you watch this recording. Okay. I want to recognize Dina. So you guys all know she worked super, super hard at this whole event that she did. And I know there's been a lot of chatter about it on the Boxer chains, a lot of chatter on the Poach page. But like, if you look at the detail of what she did, just posting her own transformation. I mean, the teacher in her definitely came out with the creativity here. It's like looking at a classroom bulletin board. But she did such a good job. This is like a coaching opportunity call at a booth, and she's got her Shakeology, the blender exploded or something. Like, it's just like, she just literally picked up, and sort of just like flew with whatever happened. But it's hard to put yourself out there. And she's doing that while she's working at school, and she's got her waitressing job, and she's coaching, and she's got the kids at home, and she's got Nick working, non 9 to 5 traditional hours. And she's going above and beyond doing stuff like this. And I just can't get over the impact that the face-to-face has. And if you look at Dina, you walk up and you talk to her, one of her gifts is being able to like talk to you, connect with you, understand, listen, and with her humor, you automatically connect to her. And so I think that that's just such a great job. I think that we need to be doing more things like this. And I definitely wanted to highlight it because this is like total rock star behavior right here. So awesome job, Dina.
Thank you, Trace. And I actually, because I posted this, I had a guy reach out to me and he asked me to do a table at an upcoming 5K.
All right.
So I'm thinking maybe give out like, if not Energize, because I don't know if the runners would want to drink something before, but maybe does Recover taste good?
Oh, it's amazing.
Okay. So I'm thinking I'll just give out samples of Recover after the race rather than like break another blender,
Well,
you could also do Hydrate, by the way. If Hydrate is like a really good thing to drink right after race because it's very refreshing.
Okay,
so
cool.
You can even do that.
Okay, because Hydrate is technically during or no?
Hydrate you can do during. I do it during and after.
Perfect. All right, so I'll give them those 2 options. Thank you.
Awesome. Way to go. Okay, and then Becca Dressler, she has run 2 freemiums in just 4 weeks of being a brand new coach. Plus she's training to do like a 25-mile hike, and she homeschools 3 children. So I just think it's safe to say that like the women on our team are all juggling a lot of like crazy things and still making time to impact people. And freemiums are so important for the brand new coach in order to really expand the market. Especially someone like Becca realized very quickly after her first 2 weeks of posting call to actions, when you're not getting any traction and it's like crickets, it's like, okay, you learn very quickly that your warm market really isn't that warm at all. So you got to go really expand your market, ask for new friends, run some freemiums, offer some value. And instead of what some coaches do is like, oh, my warm market's not that great, I'm out, this isn't for me. So many coaches do that. She's like, okay, I'm going to dig my heels in. This is going to take a lot longer than I thought to get up and running, but I'm committed to do it. So I just wanted to highlight her. I think this is just such a great picture of her hiking on one of her hikes. I think like the metaphor of her 25-mile hike is such a good metaphor for our business. Like we're not in it for the short term. We do it because the long-term residual compound effect is really when we start to see the magic in coaching. Okay, that's all I have. So I'm going to turn my screen share off and turn it over to either Pam or Nicole. You're muted.
Okay. All right, hang on one sec. Trying to do this. There we go. Sorry, my computer's being really slow lately. Okay. All right. So for those of you who were not either on the team at the time of the retreat or on the retreat, we were asked to each in pairs understudy a coach, any coach we wanted, who was not part of our team, who it could be somebody newer, it could be an elite coach. Really, we had the choice of whatever we wanted to do. And we presented briefly on them at the retreat, but then we were going to be following them in more depth for a longer period of time. Nicole and I chose Bonnie Engel, and what really, I think what really jumped out, she's incredibly real and incredibly easy to relate to. And so we just immediately felt like a rapport with her. And that was, I think, what really led us to choose her more than anything else. As we started to follow her, she talks about, she uses the phrase simple, simple, simple in her in some of her videos, because she just believes in a very straightforward approach. She's not about lots of fluff. She's about, here it is. This is what you need to do. Here, this is who you need to, how you need to be yourself, the various things. So that's where our title came from. She says, simple, simple, simple. The thing you need to do more than anything is to hit SC every single month. And there were three main things that were the three key things that that she says to make that happen. One is finding your you. Another is to treat your business as a business, and another is the invite. Actually, it's invite, follow-up, and objections. So we're going to focus, actually, I should have adjusted that more, on the follow-up and the objections. So those are the three areas we're going to focus on the most. So Nicole is on for
Okay.
Sorry.
For find your you. Yeah, so this is really the first part of her simplicity. And I know that we hear this all the time as coaches, right? You need to find your why, you need to find your you. But going through and kind of looking at what she does and how she does it, I realized in thinking about our team, I mean, this is so much for a new coach just as much as it is for the seasoned coaches on this team. So, when we first jump into this adventure and decision to coach, we go through getting started right training, which gives us a strong foundation and all kinds of information on what it will take to be successful. And I think it sets a strong stage for us. So during that time, after having the training, we're following these ideas laid out by those ahead of us, right? They get us engaged. They get us into social media. It's really a great time for us on our journey as we're excited and we're sharing newfound passions of a workout program that has changed our body, or a food program, 21-day fix, that you're now pairing with your workout program that's changing your nutrition and really getting you results. Or Shakeology, this amazing superfood that is changing your life. And it's really easy to share about those things. They're new to us and they've made us feel really good. So I think this is where a lot of the magic happens, and you're having people sign up because of your energy and passion. Right here, why do people sign up? Not because of Beachbody, because of you. I think that's super important for us to remember. These people are watching each one of us share, and they're inspired by us, and they're feeding off of our energy and our desire to help and to share with them. And, it's something that's making us tick, so they're very engaged. So again, they're not giving Beachbody, the business. They're not going to the Beachbody generic website per se. It's really products that they're trying and Beachbody things that they want to get involved in because of you. It's not just an infomercial, or it's not just because a coworker had success, but again, because they're following you, not Beachbody. I think one thing to look at in this journey too is then a few months go by and you have followed a few what are those? The calendars that say post this topic on on this day. So a few months of coaching have gone by. You've done a couple of those, post this topic on this day, which are super great. They get you engaged, and you're hitting your place of starting to find your why, right? So now you're a couple months in and you're starting to find your why, and that's important. And some of you know before you start what your why is. Some discover it quickly, right after starting this journey. Others aren't sure if they will ever find it. Or like me personally, it's feeling kind of like it's an evolving and ever-changing thing. Sometimes struggling on harnessing it. So whatever stage you're at, you have passions and things that are driving you. You're just tackling them. You're tackling and trying to figure out how to put them together and onto social media. I think it's around the 8 to 12 month mark that you start getting a dose of being yourself, which leads into this next thing. Her thing was be yourself, not a cookie cutter of other coaches. Learn from them, glean nuggets, then be your beautiful, unique self. And occasionally you'll see a really great post from another coach on this team, or another coach that you're following and you're kind of understudying, and you draw ideas off them, or you ask, I know I personally will go and ask another coach, hey, do you mind if I use this and make it my own? Which is totally okay and awesome. But I think it becomes a very fine line of continuing to listen to your heart and your passions, versus grasping for things that you can see, right? So if you're not listening to your why and you're not kind of tuning into what your heart and your passion is saying, then I think it turns into grasping to other things, and then you're kind of starting to become a cookie cutter of another coach. So I think trying to figure out that fine line is what you really need to do, which is where you need to focus on not losing yourself, your voice, or your you. And I think this is where you can really dig in. You need to make sure you're doing your personal development. You need to really dig into what your passions are. You need to remember that surface level does not connect. So you either get real or you get stuck. And what I mean is when you open up and you let people into the daily, the messy, the not so put together, this is the place where it may not be perfect, but within that mess lies the true beauty and basis of who you really are. So you either do that or you get stuck. If you can't show those parts of you and dig in and get real, then you're only going to stay surface level. So I think in being yourself and again, not being cookie cutter, I think you really need to shoot from the heart let yourself feel. When you have those aha moments or something pokes you or provokes you, get on and share live, get on and post about it, get on and do something before it kind of just passes you. So they want to see you, and you need to become a constant for people. So I think that's really what it's about for finding your you.
We created these. We did a couple of slides with examples of posts that we thought were good examples of us being us. A couple of things that she said, and I'm gonna, after we're done with this, I have a few different documents that I'm gonna put up because it was just too much to give you all at once. But a couple of things that she said that really struck me were about not being interesting, but being relatable. And what she calls the BFF rule, which is, she says, to speak the same in your social media as you do in your real life. So it's, you know, you want to be the same person who you are all the time. You don't want to lose yourself again in that. These were 3 different posts that I've done recently. There's only a picture with one of them because another one, the first one was, Tracy and I were joking about this one last night, where I was just being completely honest. You know, I was joking around, but at the same time, it was so true. I mean, it's monkey bread that we made on this snow day almost did me in. It was like the complete crack monkey bread. And so it was just being honest. And, you know, there was nothing, it was about as real as anything could be. And then there was just kind of the connect me as a regular mom. You know, here's a big part of my life, this, you know, that we can all relate to, this just driving around and doing the mom thing. And then the last one, I didn't put a picture because I'd had a quote up with it. But when it couldn't have been a more genuine thing. I actually was reading it to Andrew after I wrote it, before I posted it, and I was crying as I was reading it. And I said, it's because sometimes I'll put these things together, and I think we probably all do that, and we have these moments where we think, is it too much? Are we, you know, just spilling ourselves out here and oversharing? But I almost feel like that's the moment that it's actually enough, because we're sharing ourselves as deeply as we can be. And that's where people feel like they're being let into our world, and that's where people connect, because they're not, you know, as they're not buying Beachbody, they're buying us. They're doing this. If all they cared about was Beachbody, they would go to the Beachbody site and click a button and just take care of it. But they are coming to us because we're the ones who they want as part of it. These are Nicole's.
And, you know, these are just a sample of them. I think after we started studying her, when we went on our retreat, I think the biggest thing that stuck out to me was, you know, get real or get stuck, right? And I'm kind of I don't know exactly how to express my why on social media, but I like these 3 posts because the first one, it shows a before and after, but what I was really trying to get across in this first one is this transformation is more to me about my mind. It's about this idea that before I felt like I was surviving, and after I felt like I was thriving. So, you know, that was kind of what I was trying to express in that. The one with Gwendolyn, my boyfriend's daughter, you know, I'm trying to express on social media the realness of what it feels like, of a, you know, being a girlfriend with multiple kids in my boyfriend's lives, and knowing that I'm not their mommy, but wanting to be the best version of myself that I can be for them. Knowing that these little girls are looking up to me, and, you know, knowing that I want to love her like my own. And she watches every single thing that I do, even if I'm not her mommy. And then the other one, again, just a real time of, we're all so busy and all these people see me being positive on social media, but sometimes all I want to do is be in my robe on the couch.
Okay, so the next part is about treating your business as a business. And she talks a lot about, she says, if you're the owner, how would you want the business run? And what I loved, she compared it to if you buy a franchise, you are, or a storefront or something like that, you're putting a lot of money into it. You're really, sorry, a lot of background noise. You're really putting a lot of finances in, and that's your collateral. The only money we're putting in is our Shakeology, and I don't know that we see that as necessarily an investment in our business. We just see that as an investment in ourselves. So our collateral is our why. And when you have collateral, it's defined as something to be forfeited in the event of a default, and no one wants to forfeit their funds. But if you think about it, do you really want to forfeit your why? I mean, that's so important. If your why, whether it's your health or your family or, whatever it may be, your financial situation, whatever it is that something you're willing to give up on? That should be so near and dear to you that the loss of it would be literally painful. And I just thought that was a great way to think of it, because I don't think that we all always, I think it can be hard to think of it always as a business and not just as something in addition that we're doing. She talks about setting the non-negotiable goals, which are your vital behaviors and success club. That was very straightforward. Self-evaluating. One of the hardest things to figure out for all of us is time. So to find time that you can use, she journaled her schedule, and she looked at, just like you would do a food journal, she did a life journal of her time, and then evaluated where she could replace things with Beachbody. And part of that is, what are you willing to give up in order to achieve this? What is worth it to you in order to achieve that why and hold on to that collateral? She says, as you evaluate and learn, don't change everything at one time. That doesn't work. You're not throwing out the baby with the bathwater. You're taking these nuggets, you're taking the ahas, and then you're working on them. If everything's too big and you try to change everything at once, it'll all fall apart. It's a house of cards. You need to just focus on certain parts, but at the same time, keep self-evaluating and reevaluating. Keep looking at your goals. Keep looking at your why. Don't let anything stagnate. And then the last thing that she really talked about was that we are entrepreneurs. It's not just coaching. It's not a hobby. It's not something we're just doing because there's nothing else we could do. It's not just an MLM. This is a business. And the more you think of it that way, the easier it is to devote the time that you need to devote and give it what it requires to be successful. Treat it, if you have another job working outside the home, treat this no differently than you treat that. You have to prioritize it differently at different times. Clearly, when I'm in the middle of doing report cards, I have to give that my attention over certain aspects of Beachbody, but no differently than at certain times I need to give my kids more attention over my teaching position. There are times we have to shuffle different things in our lives, but your Beachbody job doesn't always need to be the thing to take the back seat. You shuffle as needed, and you figure out what takes forefront at different times, different days, different weeks, whatever's going on in your life, how you can manage it. But if, one of the other coaches on my team said, my husband writes, and he doesn't ever seem to have a problem with going. It's a second job for him, and he'll go and he'll close the door to work on it. And she said, I always feel guilty when I do that. And I think we all have to learn, we have this mother's guilt, and we have to learn how to say, this is important, this matters. We are doing this for our families. We are doing this for ourselves. We are doing this to grow in so many ways, and everyone benefits from it. So yes, the time interferes in certain ways, but that's reality. That's life. That's everything we do. The last piece is follow-up and objections. So with the follow-up, these were the biggest points that I thought really stood out. You want to end the communication on a positive note, and you want to ask for the follow-up. When you ask for the follow-up, you don't seem desperate. You're saying, hey, do you mind? I'm going to, what works for you to check in? So you're really reading them. This was, I thought, such an awesome idea to be persistent and not a pest. When you follow up, add value. Follow-up can be that happy birthday, but it can also be, look at your notes. Is this somebody who has a serious nighttime sugar habit? Send them a recipe for a healthy sweet snack. Or is this somebody with an autoimmune? Send them a list of nightshades to help with their diet. Give them ideas. Show them that you are there for them, to support them, whether or not they are ordering a challenge pack and joining a group, that their health and fitness means something to you, and that they mean something to you, and that you can bring something to their life, that you can help solve the problems. The call that Carl did on Shred, he talked about that we need to show them how we show people how we can solve their problems. And by adding value in your follow-up, you can do that. And then there's the be patient, don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle. If you look at this slide, this is a basic sales thing. Sales of anything do not happen overnight. It takes many, many, many contacts. I mean, 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So if you give up, if you get frustrated, don't keep going. And there are lots of different strategies. There's a Bob Hellig video that just got posted in our Poach page with a whole, the reverse psychology strategy. There's so many different strategies of how to follow up. But the key is, the second you stop following up, it's over. If you don't keep trying, then it's not going to go anywhere, clearly. Finally is objections. You need to know what your market is and what their objections may be. Part of that is keeping a list of your own objections and your own concerns, and keeping that list of all the different objections that may come up as you're dealing with people. Communication is key on all of that. I feel like as a teacher, the more I communicate with parents, the more proactive I am, in not just in conferences, but in almost anticipating what their concerns are, the easier my relationship is. The easier my parent-teacher conferences go when I've already anticipated things before that and dealt with them before we get to that point. Tackling your objections in posts, to put it out there, not as a response to an objection, but as your own. Be yourself. Say, I never drank shake, and this is why, or I was really worried about the money, and this is what, and this is actually what I've discovered since then. Tell them how your objections were resolved, how you got past that concern. Make it fun. Don't be too serious and heavy. Use emojis, smiley faces, hearts, all of it. Keep your response to objections light. And feel, felt, found is the idea of sharing your own experience again, but not on your page, but directly, where you are I felt that. I understand where you're coming from. I found the same thing. This is what I found later. Beachbody is a peer-to-peer experience. It's so personal. So use that personal connection to reach people. I was rushing through some of that because I wanted to make sure we got done with it all. But that another thing that I want to post is she had literally pages and pages of objections and responses that I jotted down or I took notes on and took pictures of. So I'm going to post all that in the files on the Poach page, because she had, literally, I think there were like, on one of her videos, she had like 8 slides just on objections. On here's one objection and ways you can respond to it. And here's another. And to have a resource like that you can just go to, just like we have the resource of how to invite, here's a resource of what to say when people have objections. So I'll put all that in the Poach page for everyone.
Hey, Pam, there is it's in the Poach page, but it's the link to the Google Drive. It's called Snippets.
Okay.
And everyone has access to it, so you can, it's editable, but it's
there.
You go and you'll see there's a section of objectives. Just go add them all in there so it can be a working document and all the others are in one place.
Perfect.
Like the Holy Bible of rebuttals.
That in, and then I'm going to put a page about her tips about how to find your voice on social media.
Awesome.
I think I just had one more thing that I kind of was just thinking about, and I just wanted to add this to you guys. I'm friends with most of you, probably all of you, on social media. And so I think everybody on our team does a great job. I personally think of being real. I kind of had to explore everybody's stuff, and I was blown away by our team and how real we are. I think one thing that just stuck out to me on this is tackle your objections and posts. How I've always lived my life being in sales in my real job is always putting myself in the other people's shoes. How do I want to be treated? And that kind of just resonated with me, and I just wanted to share, again, for those of you that might not have thought about this, but it really helps you be proactive versus reactive, because whatever stage of life you're in, whether you're a new mom, whether you're a mother of multiple kids, if you're not a mom like myself, but you're juggling, the mom life, but the friends who still want to go out and drink and don't want to do a program. Whatever your season is, just think about what your objections would have been. And I think then it gives you, a real place to start posting from and a real good solid ground. So just wanted to add that.
I agree. Awesome. Pam, do you want to stop the screen share so that we can see?
There we go. Get it.
Hi, Jen.
Hi.
Hi.
It took me a while to figure out how to do this. I'm still new, and I was like checking every page.
You're in. For some reason, I can't see. Okay, there we go. Or does anybody have anything? I thought you guys made some great points, Nicole and Pam. Any takeaways? No?
I wrote a bunch of notes. I thought it was great. There were like so many little snippets of what both of you said that I wrote down, like from surviving to thriving, and just like about beautiful messes. And I took away a lot from this call because it is so easy for me to post about like Jack and like rainbows and sunshine and babies. I still have a really hard time like doing those more vulnerable posts. And Nicole said it. I mean, I scroll through my news feed and I'm like, oh, she had a really bad day. Oh, Heidi has back pain. So do I. Why would I never write it? So like, I'm just sitting here making a list of like all of the things because those are the things that I personally connect with. Like when Heidi did her video about her own back pain, I was like, when Dina posted today that she didn't have a great week, I'm like, me neither, whereas like join my challenge group, it gets old, honestly. I just think people see the realness in it a lot more. And so you guys motivated me to be a little bit more clairvoyant in my posts.
That's such a great point because, you know, you are someone who's got like sunshine in your pocket, right? All the time.
Mhm.
And I do think that for people who are not that way, like they have to see us as authentically showing that we're having crappy days.
Right.
And honestly, like I took the day off of Facebook today because my mind has been in such like, I've had stinking thinking. I'm just like, I started off my day and couldn't recover. My day was just, the first 3 hours got me in such a huff that I couldn't recover from it. And you know, sometimes when you can't even be authentic because you're so off,
Yeah.
I think it's okay to take a breather, but I think it's also important for when I come back onto Facebook, I can't fake like everything is still fine. Like I had a
Right.
bad day today, you know?
Mhm.
And I think just as you said, that is where you get the connections with people. That's where you're going to find people Facebook messaging, private messaging you and be like, you know what? That's when it's like, ding, they think that they can be friends with you.
Right.
Mhm.
You know? I wrote down a lot of good nuggets too. I loved the part where you guys were talking a little bit about your second slide was about not the Facebook part about telling the why and not the follow-up part, but what was the example that you were giving on slide 2? I wrote down flowers, don't look at flowers, but that's not.
Be yourself, not a cookie cutter. Be your beautiful, unique self.
Oh, I know the thought that I wanted to share is that I think too, since there are a lot of coaches on here, especially when you understudy or when you're brand new, you go and you start looking at some of the top coaches or even some of the coaches on our team. And I just think it's important to remember that we have to look at each other for inspiration, but we don't ever, like the instant that you start to feel like you're comparing, like, wow, you know, this coach put the same post up that I did for engagement and they have 65 likes and I only got 12 likes. That can be such a bad place where you can start to tunnel into a bad place, right? So I think it's important that not only like comparing yourself, we don't want to do, that's the thief of joy, but also just appreciating that you might be in chapter 2 and Pam might be in chapter 26, right? And appreciating the difference between that and not getting into that comparison game because that can be so daunting.
I think that's so important. And that's something for me, myself, it was awesome that we were doing this is because, you know, I'm a newer coach. I think I'm coming up to a year. So, but you know, at the 8-month mark, that's where I found myself. And you know what I've realized about our team though, too, is everybody hits strides at different points. Some of us are on fire and, you know, the authenticity is flowing. And then like you said, Tracy, there's days where we're like, hey, we need a break off of social media today. So I think that's okay because although I think it's very important in all of this to be a constant for people, you know, that's something I'm taking away from this too, is they know it's highs and lows, right?
Yes.
So if you're a constant, but you know, you can find that fine line of not being negative, but expressing the realness and just knowing that, yeah, we can't compare ourselves to each other because we're each.
Some of my worst times, my hardest times as a coach have been when I've done that, when I've been comparing myself and finding myself falling short in every way. And it's funny because Nicole actually was the one who just said to me recently, do you not see yourself the way other people do? And I was like, no, I guess, you know, and I don't know, a lot of us don't, but I'm not good at looking at myself from that, not from the outside, but with a more objective perspective. And I'm very critical. And I do that in a real comparison way. And I just did a post recently about comparison being the thief of joy. I used that quote. And it really, when I look back at the time I've been coaching, every time that I have gotten incredibly discouraged, it's been in my head. I've been comparing my post to people's posts, my success to people's success. And then all of a sudden I've realized, you know, oh, wow, somebody else is having the same experience, you know, through conversations with them or with Tracy or just watching posts in the page. I think one of the things that's really great about our team is that people are very honest when they go onto the coach page and when we talk to each other, to be, when we say, as it's not like I'm a hugely experienced coach, but if I say to somebody who's a new coach, if I talk about the challenges that I'm facing and that I have hard days, I'm not just saying that. I'm not just saying it to make you feel better. We really do all go through these total ups and downs, and that's part of the journey. And you definitely, you get farther, and then you take those steps back, and then you go a little farther the next time, and how it goes.
Yeah.
Truth. All right, you guys did an excellent job. I know it takes a lot of work, one, to go through all the content of the person that you're understudying, but then two, to get together as a team and put it together. You guys did a phenomenal job, and as a team, we appreciate you guys educating us and giving us the golden nuggets.
Thank you.
Happy to.
Amazing.
Like my lighting better? I did better.
Yes, the lighting was fabulous. All right, guys, we will see you in 2 weeks. We're going to do something really cool in 2 weeks. It's going to be super interactive.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
All right, thank you, ladies.
Thanks
Night.
again. Good night.
Bye.